It's time now for us to take a look back at this week's headline-making stories in our Reporters Rewind. Our guest at the roundtable today are Nayaba Narinde. She is an editor for the New York Amsterdam News, and we should celebrate her and her colleagues. They celebrated the Harlem newspaper's 150th, is it 150 or 105? I was trying to make you older than you were. 105th year anniversary on Thursday, so happy anniversary there. We also have Simon Moya-Smith, who is the culture editor for Indian Country and a contributor at MTV and CNN. And we have Nyasha Laing, who is a blogger and attorney and a frequent member of the roundtable here at Reporters Rewind. Welcome to all of you. It's good to meet you. Thanks for being here with us. So, of course, you know, it's Eric Garner and black men dying at the hand of white police officers all the time. So that's where we want to concentrate our conversation today. And let's see, I think I want to start with the reaction, Nayaba, that you've gotten from the readers of the Amsterdam News, a African-American newspaper, a very historic one at that.
I mean, outraged, surprised, but not shocked, but not surprised. A lot of folks are saying we thought something like this might happen. We were hoping that it would have an indictment or something. So I think people were just stunned when we got the original on Wednesday. So I've been out in the street. I've been to 4 different rallies between Ferguson and the Ferguson announcement last week and this week. Been to 4 different rallies, and the streets are hot. People wanted justice. I mean, everybody's out there, young, old, black, white, everybody, Asian, everybody's out there trying to get their point across. They want justice in this case.
Yeah, and to your point, Simon, there's a diversity of those who are frustrated by this this decision that was come to by the Staten Island grand jury, believing that there was an injustice done. And I think that's encouraging to see such a diversity, don't you?
Yeah, because I mean, these situations, we have to recognize this also happens in Indian country all the time. I mean, just 1 year ago, 2 police officers shot an 18-year-old Native American 7 times, and it never makes the news. Wow. When Native Americans die, the difference when they shoot African Americans, they shoot Native Americans, these cops get awards. So these 2 cops that shot this 18-year-old Native American boy received awards. Now, this is something that is very common in America. So the Wounded Knee Massacre, many people know the Wounded Knee Massacre. Sure. 20 of the U.S. cavalrymen received the Medal of Honor, and we can't even get a black president to rescind those medals for a massacre. So the idea that this is only reserved to the urban community is false. Native Americans die all the time at the hands of authorities. The only difference is they get awarded for it.
Well, the hope is that this incident will raise the conversation so that those types of discrepancies and injustices are addressed. I want to turn to you, Nyasha, because you're an attorney, and talk about the legal aspect of this. I mean, expert after expert after expert that I've talked to over the last week or two have talked about how unusual the decision from Staten Island is and the prosecutor's approach in Ferguson, if I can wrap that into this conversation.
Well, you know, one of the things I've appreciated in the past few weeks is seeing the legal community come out and comment, you know, and really comment on their honest opinion without having seen the evidence that was presented in court in the case of Ferguson, but really knowing that something was smelling wrong in that case. In the case of Staten Island, I think people were shocked that the negligent homicide, that didn't stick. And the next charge could have been reckless endangerment. That was not read to the jury. So in every case, there seems to be some complicity between the prosecutor, the police department that results in, really a manipulation of the jury. And that's why people are calling for the end of the grand jury system, or at least a special prosecutor, which still is an option in the case of Eric Garner.
You know, I want you guys to talk a little bit about because we're all New Yorkers, we live here, your impressions of the stand that Mayor Bill de Blasio has taken. He has invoked his fear of his brown son, his biracial son, who to most would just think he's a black boy, and how something needs to be done about the interaction between law enforcement and black boys in this city, which has enraged police officers, and particularly the New York Police Benevolence Association. Tell me what your thoughts are around that and the nuances here. Who wants to start?
I mean, the mayor's saying what's personal to him. So it's obviously he's going to address it because it's in his home. So when he said that, I thought, okay, that's his personal opinion. Plus, he's trying to balance between the political and the personal. And here comes the PBA, who have to say what they say, whether they believe it or not, because they have to represent the rank and file. But what he said was, my son, I told him, you know, when an officer approaches you, here's how you respond. Because the reality is, you could be a target. That's reality. So whatever Pat Lynch and the PBA say, you're not speaking to that. This is his personal experience. So Pat Lynch, with all due respect, is saying what he has to say because that's what the rank and file is saying. Listen, guess what he said? Create a fuss. Go ahead, say what you say. That's what I took it as. What's the mayor going to say? He's not going to address it. His son is a black kid. What's he going to say? He has to address the reality.
But the question is, for either of you guys, there's some political ramifications here. What does a mayor do when his police force perhaps turns against him?
Right. Well, I mean, obviously he is playing politics because the first rule of politics is to get reelected. And so he's not going to get reelected by a solid NYPD police voter base. He needs those votes, and he needs the votes from the black community, from the Chicano community, or the Latino community, the Native American community. He needs those votes. So right now I think he's playing politics, but I totally agree. I think it's because it's in his home. These are his personal perspectives. And I think that this might even be some part of his conscience coming in and saying, forget NYPD. This is something that we need to deal with right now in our backyard.
I fully agree. And I also think that he's a politician staying close to his roots. He was the former ombudsman, essentially, of New York City. And he came in on that mandate, and we might forget that part of the body camera debate came around, really came to a fore in the Floyd case with stop and frisk, and that's sort of when we knew that these body cameras were going to be implemented, even though they might not be the solution. It was clear that that was his intention from the beginning. And I think that he's staying close to his roots, he's making good on his promises, and while he knows he may offend some people, he can't go against what he actually believes. Tish James, who was trained very well by the mayor, has also come out now and calling for body cameras. She was close to the Floyd case and has also called for the special prosecutor. So I think, there are politicians in New York City who are staying close to their base. Hopefully it will result in some actual policy changes.
I want to turn the attention to us journalists. We're all journalists at this table, and get your assessment of whether the media, and I always hate when they lump everybody in one, but whether the media is getting these stories right and striking the right tone, because there has been criticism that the media has exacerbated, if not race-baited, some of these issues. What are your thoughts?
I think, honestly, that there have been some edgy there's been some edgy storytelling. I don't want to say any networks, but at the end of the day,
if it's not us, go ahead. No, I'm just joking.
At the end of the day, I think that we needed a certain level of polarization. Look, Obama has not been able to say. He's called, Van Jones criticized Obama just the other day in an editorial saying that this is not about mistrust between black and white communities. This is a total failure of accountability. Obama can't say that. So the fact that this is polarized as a black and white, now the Hispanic community is coming out strong as well because this is an issue that affects them just as much. I think that needs to be heard. Those voices need to be heard. And at some point, and we've already seen other voices coming out in Cleveland and other places where protests have taken over the city saying, look, let's all rally around this issue.
Right. Well, in the Native American community as well. So, I mean, it's something where we all as people are recognizing that this is something that accountability in the police department needs to be visited, but maybe not by police. I don't think people are trusting the grand jury system. I don't think we trust the police departments to look at themselves, to correct themselves. So there's actually this bifurcation between us and them. And I think, though, when we think of social media has really provided people the opportunity to, this phone, it's not just a toy, it's an opportunity to take the photo, to hashtag something, to send it out from within the riot. So as journalists, we're on the margins, right? Mm-hmm. Cops are pushing us back. Well, now they have this tool where they can literally be in the middle, and they have that opportunity to be those activist journalists so that nothing gets missed.
We're going to have to stop the conversation right there, but you make a very good point. Our smartphones makes every issue global. Right. And my word for the day is bifurcation.
Nice.
I like that. Nice. Nayaba Narinde, Simon Moya-Smith, and Nyasha Laing. Thank you, all of you. Great conversation. Thanks. And you're watching Arise America.